Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Sundays with Paul. Today is Memorial Day. Now, Memorial Day, of course, is a day set aside for us to honor and acknowledge fallen military heroes. That's the primary intent of Memorial Day. It's not about a 3-day weekend. It's not about barbecues and grilling out and hanging out with friends, although those are some benefits that are received from it. But it is indeed a day that was set aside to honor fallen military heroes. There is some discussion around what the true origins of the day were, but we do know that about 1868 is when it became official as far as a national holiday to acknowledge fallen soldiers. Now back then it was called Decoration Day, and the reason it was called Decoration Day is because you would go out to the cemetery and you would literally decorate the tombstones of the fallen soldiers with flowers and other things. Today, that tradition still continues. There's I was going to say a science. It's not. That's kind of a cold term, but there is a methodology to where people lay coins on tombstones, on top of tombstones. If you ever see a military soldier's tombstone with coins laying on top of it, depending on the denomination of the coin, how much it is, that tells you who it was that left the coin, like a penny being someone like myself who is just a grateful citizen, goes all the way up to individuals who served together, someone who actually died on behalf of the soldier that they were with. All of that is still a tradition that carries on. It carries over from Decoration Day. But while it started right after the Civil War, a few years after the Civil War, in an attempt to acknowledge the sacrifice of those soldiers, an attempt to also heal some of the wounds that the Civil War had still left wide open, it ultimately became what we know today as Memorial Day. And Memorial Day continues to have a focus on the fallen soldiers. Now, over the years, it also has evolved a bit, especially since the tragic events of 9/11. It has evolved into becoming a day where we also start to recognize our fallen heroes. Our fallen heroes being those in other professions as well. Law enforcement, firefighters, medical personnel. It's expanded in that way. And it even expands farther than that, in that it has become a generally accepted day for us to go out to the cemeteries and pay respects to our ancestors, those who have preceded us in passing. And I myself have done some of the Memorial Day road trips, going around to cemeteries and putting wreaths and flowers on various grave sites for various relatives. But that is maybe where the holiday has gone, but we're going to focus a little bit different here today. I'm going to take the fact that it's Memorial Day, and I want to illustrate something with that. And so our focus today is on being memorial sacrifices. Now, there are many who have sacrificed for others, paying that ultimate price. Among those also are the warriors of faith, those who have given their lives seeking to share the gospel with other people. His back is bent and weary, his voice is tired and low, his sword is worn from battle, and his steps have gotten slow. But he used to walk on water, or it seemed that way to me. I know he moved some mountains, never left his knees. Strike up the band, assemble the choir. Another soldier's coming home. Another warrior hears the call he's waited for so long. He'll battle no more. He's won the wars. Make sure heaven's table has room for at least one more. Sing a welcome song. Another soldier's coming home. He faced the winds of sorrow, but his heart knew no retreat. He walked in narrow places, knowing Christ knew no defeat. But now his steps turn homeward, so much closer to the prize. He's sounding kind of homesick, there's a longing in his eyes. Strike up the band, assemble the choir. Another soldier's coming home. Another warrior hears the call he's waited for so long. He'll battle no more. He's won the wars. Make sure heaven's table has room for at least one more. Sing a welcome song. Another soldier's coming home. Strike up the band, assemble the choir. Another soldier's coming home. Another warrior hears the call he's waited for so long. He'll battle no more. He's won the wars. Make sure heaven's table has room for at least one more. Sing a welcome song. Sing a welcome song. Another soldier's coming home. Another soldier's coming home. Coming home. When I think of those who've sacrificed, I am grateful that they were willing to serve. I'm impressed by their commitment to their duty, but I'm mostly humbled by their ability to give all. The greatest example of this type of sacrifice was Jesus himself. He left heaven to walk among men and to ultimately shed his blood for them at their hands. Violently they grabbed his arms as they tightly strapped each wrist. With the hellish look of a strong-armed soldier, whip clenched in his fist. Laced with chips of bone, they beat him hard from his shoulders to his feet. And it sliced right through his olive skin, just like razors through a sheet. Countless times the blood splattered as each inhuman lash was given. Several times his knees gave way as his flesh just hung like ribbons. Surprisingly, he turned his head, though the words he used were few. The soldier's face turned pale when he said, "This blood is for you." Uncaringly they tossed a garment across his weakened form, and his blood pressure fell deathly low as the crowd began to swarm. They forced him to carry his cross uphill as his face they punched and smacked, while the splinters of the crisscross beam dug deep into his back. Through lack of sleep and dehydration, his tongue began to swell. And weakened by his loss of blood, this prophet teacher fell. And when he did, some blood splattered on a man named Simon's shoe. And as he bent to wipe it off, the prophet said, "Simon, this blood is for you." This blood can save the soul, heal the sick, mend the heart. This blood can give you access to the very throne of God. And it still can go the distance through the pain to where you are. This blood is for you. The blood of the Lamb. Then they pounded a spike through the bones in his wrists, bursting arteries and veins. And as they dropped the cross in the hole they dug, his body convulsed with pain, through agony and torment that never a soul will find. He turned his face towards heaven with full control of his mind, and with more love than any human heard before that time or since. He made a statement that to this day makes the strongest skeptic wince. He cried, "Father God, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And as he gave his life for those lost in sin, he was saying, "My blood is for you." And this blood can save the soul, heal the sick, mend the heart. This blood can give you access to the very throne of God. And it still can go the distance through the pain to where you are. This blood is for you. If you're lost and alone and your mind is confused, this blood is for you. If you feel like you have been hurt or abused, this blood is for you. The atoning, cleansing blood of the Lamb. This blood can save the soul, heal the sick, mend the heart. This blood can give you access to the very throne of God. And it still can go the distance through the pain to where you are. This blood is for you. The blood of the Lamb. This blood is for you. The blood of the Lamb. Of the Lamb. Hebrews 9:28 tells us, so Christ was sacrificed once to take away the sins of many, and he will appear a second time, not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him. Later in Hebrews 10:14, we're told that for by one sacrifice, he has made perfect those who are being made holy. Jesus gave his all. He did so for you and for me. He paid the ultimate price for us. He willingly sacrificed himself in service to others. This Memorial Day, I genuinely thank those who have laid down their lives while looking out for me. Soldiers, police officers, firefighters, first responders, doctors, nurses, and missionaries, prayer warriors, the faithful. May each of us live our lives as memorials to those who sacrificed for us. Hebrews 13:15 and 16 tells us, through Jesus, therefore, let us continually offer to God a sacrifice of praise, the fruit of lips that openly profess his name. And do not forget to do good, to share with others, for with such sacrifices, God is pleased. Thank you for joining me again. We'll see each other next week on another episode of Sundays with Paul.